Hello everyone, and welcome back to another Heartwell dev stream, the live stream series where we continue to develop this adorable Souls-like action RPG with platform mechanics and a branching narrative. Now, if you find these dev streams interesting or helpful, be sure to subscribe to the YouTube channel and boop that bell button to stay notified. Now, as I want to bring up, you might notice that the background areas here look a bit different. That's because the Heartwell demo is in a minimum viable product state, which means it is now functionally possible to play through the demo from start to finish. Now, that doesn't mean that the demo is quite ready for public release quite yet. I have some bugs I want to try and fix, some things I need to polish up, some animations I need to add, and a few more music a few more songs to compose as well. But nevertheless, this is a big step forward for getting the demo out. You're probably even hearing some music in the background. This is the actual background music for this dungeon. So with that being said, most of the tasks I've listed out that need to be completed before the demo can be fully released are stuff that I can't really do on stream because they may or may not include spoilers. But one of the things I would like to work on is some sound design, and that was one of my stretch goals for this. So you'll notice, chat, that when you move between different materials, the walking sound effect sounds exactly the same, because it is. It's the same sound effect no matter what you're walking on. Like, this is metal here, as opposed to stone here, and then up here is wood. You'd expect in real life that those would sound slightly different if you were stepping on them. So that's what we're going to be attempting to do tonight, is trying to do some fun sound design stuff for Heartwell. So with that being said, let's head on over to our code and see if we can make some adjustments. So the way I currently have it programmed, I just have the sound effects play on loop when this flag is sound effects playing is on. So that way it can always be activated at the correct moment. However, I think we might be able to adjust this so that it actually allows us to control which sound effect is playing, as opposed to just playing this one default walking sound effect. At least that's the plan anyway. So let's see if I can find where I set the moment where that activates. Is it here? Nope. Up here? Nope. All right, those are collisions. Basically, what we're looking for, chat, is wherever this thing gets called on. Aha! There it is. Okay, so I think let's do some planning, chat. So tonight's stream is the 13th. Yeah. So I have a thought about how we can program these the different sound effects. So currently, like I said, it plays the one sound effect. But my thought is to use an alterable value to determine which sound effect plays. So let me type out my thoughts first. So implement program a method to play different walking sound effects automatically based on the player's current location. So my thought is this: create an alterable value in the player hitbox object that determines which walking sound effect is played. Identify which value corresponds to which walking sound effect. And finally, reprogram the line of code that plays the sound effects, the walking sound effects, so that the correct sound effects plays at the correct moment. So for the values, I think in our previous stream notes, we identified a couple of potential sound effects. No, we didn't. Okay, never mind then. Well, in that case, what I'll do is I'll list potential materials that we've seen based off of the environments we have. So, taking a look into the tiled editor, I think the obvious ones are, well, obviously we'll have default. So default will be any material that's somewhat like stone. So in this case, let's also set this value to 0. So okay. See below for a list of alterable values. So 0 is default. Stone/solid surface. 1 will be metal. 2 would be dirt. And I think for this dungeon, that'll cover most surfaces, since almost everything we can step on is either metal, stone, or dirt. Yeah, let's start with that, and we can always add more as we need to. So this will be our starting point. Next, alterable values in the player hitbox object. So as it stands, I think the player hitbox object is right there. We have a bunch of alterable values here. But it looks like alterable value 26 is not being used. So we'll call alterable value 26 sound walking sound effect value. Alrighty. So now that we have that, the next thing is to come up with some pseudocode. Walking sound effect value. To make this programming happen. So we know that's the thing that determines whether a sound effect is activated is done simply by the act of walking under certain conditions, and this is the conditional value. So what I like to do when I'm making modified lines of code is I usually copy a line of code and then inactivate it so that if I mess things up badly, I'm always able to go back to what it was before. So in this case, first let's make a group of events, since I think that'll be important. So walking sound effects. This is where we'll house all the code we need for this, since everything else was just kind of added on here. Yeah, okay, so we'll want that line of code there, since that's pretty important for the walking sound effects. I know there's some walking sound effect code up here, but that's also just part of the default code. And we'll also move this down here, but this is the line of code we're going to be messing around with. So we'll copy and paste that, then inactivate this line so we have that as a backup. And this was our old comment about how this code works. So now we're free to mess around with this as we need to. So first thing we'll do is we'll add conditional value for the alterable value we just created. Let's see where it is. Turn to one of the alterable values. This being the walking sound effects value. So if that value is equal to 0, then this is the sound effects that would be playing. This is the thought process anyway. And we'll also have to add some lines of code here to avoid the other walking footstep sound effects. But this is the conditional that will determine when the sound effects plays. And we can scale this up as many times as we want. So in this case, for the next walking sound effects, if it's equal to 1, this is when we would have metal, 2 would be dirt, so on and so forth. Now, right now, obviously, it's not the case because we don't have the sound effects yet, but this would be the conditional values. And then what we'll do is we'll have a separate section of code that essentially just defines zones where these different sound effects values are set. All right. So let's make a comment for ourselves. Second line line plays the default walking sound effects. Third line above plays the metal walking sound effects. Fourth line above plays the dirt walking sound effects. I'll add a programming note. Notes, you must include all walking sound effects in the checks for the above lines to ensure you don't have multiple walking sound effects playing at the same time when transitioning between different materials. All right, and there we go. We're already on our way to making our happy sound effects code. So we have that, and we're also going to add a line of code for inserted events walking sound effects. We'll call this one walking sound effects material zones. I'll add a comment. Lines above defines when defines what defines what material sound effect value to set based on the location that the player is walking and the material that the player is walking on. Okie doke. So let's think about how we can do this. We of course could define a bunch of zones where certain sound effects would apply, but that might involve a lot of definitions. I think we'll ultimately have to do that anyway. But we can start with this area down here, since that I think will be a good spot to test things out. All right. So first, align. New event. I'm trying to remember if there's a way to pick like a zone. Aha! Okay, so this will probably make it a bit easier to define. Okay, so what I'm doing in chat right now is I'm defining a rectangular space where the alterable value would change. In this case, this section around here. All right, if the number of player objects in the zone is equal to 1, and the alterable value 26, that being the walking sound effects value, is different from 1, set the alterable value to 1. Similarly, that's equal to 0. This is different from 0. Set the value to 0. All right, and finally, chat, to test this out, we're going to basically use a dummy sound effect to test out the programming here. So I think we can use like the fist attack sound effect as a way to test it out. Obviously, it won't be what metal actually sounds like, but it's just a good way for us to see if the code's working properly or not. Okay, so where is my impact sound effects? Let's go with this impact. It sounds different enough from a normal walk. All right, impact 2. All right, chat, let's see how this handles. All right. Hey. That's cool. Look at that, chat. We have different sound effects in a certain area. Pretty neat. All right, now what if, for the sake of argument, chat, we got rid of that? Would that sound weird, or would that sound correct? Let's find out. Oof, 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 no. That sounds horrible. I think what I meant was if we did rid of it like that. Okay, let's try walking again. Okay, you know what? I actually like that better. So, even though we could have like sound effects playing at the same time, it does sound a bit more natural, because before it was sounding like you were kind of silent when we're moving between materials. Okie doke. So that's the way the code will work. We have our model, so to speak. So that means, chat, the next thing is to find an appropriate sound effect for accomplishing what we want. And for that, we're actually going to go over to Audacity. Since I don't think I have any material sound effects that really line up with this, first things first, let's see if we can't find our sound effect sample that we used before, just to kind of get a attempt to try and find what we're looking for. Basically, sorry, I should backtrack. We need to know how long that original footstep sound effect was, so we can have a footstep sound effect that's about the same length for just a different material. So let's go on over to game development and make ourselves go to sound effects. And I believe it is footsteps 1-13. Yeah, so basically we're going to put in our notes chat is that our footstep sound effects that we need for the different material here needs to be, how long is that? 0.183 seconds long max. Now the sound effects start around like the point, I want to say the 0.55 mark or 0.055 mark. So did these. Next order of business, creates walking sound effects for metal and dirt. Note, all right, there we go. All right, sorry about that, chat. Just adjusting that to make it easier to remember which line of dialogue, not line of dialogue, which sound effects here apply. So while we're creating the sound effects for metal and dirt, the start of the sound effect should be at 0.055 seconds. The end of the sound effect should be at 0.183 seconds. There should be some silence before and after the sound effect. Includes silence. So that will give us the correct timing we need. All right, chat. Now we have to do a wee bit experimental here. Find different ways to record sounds. So I'm actually going to take a moment, chat, to go look for like any kind of metallic material. Because right now I'm just sitting at a wooden desk, so I'll be right back. Alright, chat, sorry about that. So I went and found my keys, since I know that's made of some kind of metal. So what you're hearing is my keys. And we're going to see if we can use that to make some kind of metallic sound effect. So right now, this is our default. Pretty straightforward. And we are going to start recording. So let's see what we can do. All right, let's take a listen, chat. That was me basically just pressing my finger against a metallic part of a key lock, and we'll see if that can be useful for us. Okay, there were a few there I actually kind of liked. I think it was this one, maybe? That one's all right. What about this one? All right, what about that one? Well, actually, that second to the last one might be pretty good. Or this one? All right, stepping out to you, chat. We want a metallic sound. You're literally nothing, make it louder. All right. Well, I mean, to be fair, this is meant to be a bit on the softer side, but I know what you're saying. So that's the default sound effect. Yeah, you're right, chat. We should amplify this a bit, though. You're right. So let's do an amplify. Okay, well, that's... Well, I might have amplified that a bit too much. Compare that to our current sound effects. Just a peak amplitude close to, like, I want to say 0.2. That should do. All right, let's try that. Okay. It's not, I think some of these towards the end sound pretty decent. Let's try that in a loop. Or this one. Or this one. Methinks we will have to mess around with changing pitch as well, since I know some metal can sound a bit bassier. All right, this one. Okay, let's do some experimenting, chat. I'm gonna take these last notes and do some modulations on them to see if we can make them sound a bit bassier. So that way we can have some hopefully better sound effects. So we'll try changing the pitch. So that's a slight change down. Okay, so now it's starting to sound a bit bassier. If we were to set it up though, what would that sound like? Okay. Sounded a bit too high though. No, that sounds a bit too weird. Honestly, I think that on the second one here. Yeah, that sounds metallic. All right, let's go with that. See if we can extrapolate this one. Zoom in a bit. Copy that. Right towards the very beginning. For those who are just joining, we are creating basically a walking on metal sound effect. We definitely have to make some adjustments to make it work though. We want this to start around 0.055 seconds. Which is about there. It needs to end around 0.1083 seconds. Which is about I think it's there. Yeah. All right. Let's take a listen, chat. I like it. All right. So we'll delete that. Export this as an MP3. We'll call this Metal Footsteps 1-1 or Footsteps on Metal Surface. Okey-doke. Now we have our new sound effect to play with. We'll go back to our code and add it on in. Okie doke. All right, chat. All that's left to do is test it out. So we're walking. So it feels a bit off about it. All right, well, back to the sound effect drawing board. I think maybe it's that it needs to be a bit... Maybe we want to go bassier. Okay. So chat, we have our initial sound effects, but we're going to try and lower the pitch to see if that helps. Okay, so for comparison, this is close to normal. Okay. Make sure it ends at the same time. Now that's where this is an MP3, so we can try again. Will be footstep surface 1-2. All right, let's adjust it and see if it works. All right, hopefully that sounds a little better. Oh, what do you think, chat? Think it sounds better? I think it's still a little jarring. Maybe it's just slightly too loud. We can adjust it further. Okay, I'm just making it softer, chat, so it's not as jarring when when we're walking over it, because before, did that help at all? Okay, that's definitely lowered it this time. We'll support that as version 3. And give it a try. See whether or not this sounds closer to metal. I like that better. Yeah, that's more like it. All right, I think we have a decent metal sound effect. All right. So now, chat, we get to define different areas that have the metal sound effect. This one will be here. Right now, I'm just trying to see whether or not we have the outlining correct, because the positioning of the player can be a little confusing because of the way the hitbox works. So let's... Yeah, that's what I thought. We're gonna have to shift everything a bit upward. Yeah, okay. So shift everything upward by, I think, like 11-ish pixels. So that was 59. Let's try there. And need to shift everything up a bit. 78, 81. Right now I'm just defining zones for the sound effects chat. All right, let's try that out. Okay, that seems to make sense. Yeah, look at that, chat. Now we have sound effects that are dependent on locations. It's pretty cool. That was clearly metallic, so we'll want to add to that. Now we get to do the fun stuff of define different zones, chat. So that's what I want to define is that starting room. So first thing we'll do is get this area. We'll shift it up by about 11. So that will be 1493. We'll overlay it here because we have to add another zone there. So what I'm doing, chat, is making it so that that metal room has the now metal sound effects. Or at least that's the plan. Thankfully, rooms that are of all the same material make it a lot easier. It's when we have smaller sections like this that make it a little have to be a bit more careful with how we're placing everything. All right, let's test that out, chat. Let's walk back over to the starting room. All right, so far so good. Okay, I'm just making sure that the sound effects line up with Dorothy's footsteps. I think they do. Okay, that seems to make sense. Yeah, okay, perfect. We have it all dialed in. Look at that, chat. Yeah. Hooray for sound effects. Okay. So that just leaves some more areas that'll need different sound effects. Let's take a look at our map and identify them. So the bots that will need metal are down here, which we have, over here, which we have. I think this will want to make it with the wooden sound effect, so let's take a look elsewhere. Okay, up here, definitely need some metal sound effects. So in this room up here, for the rest of the area, this room over here needs the metal sound effects. Yeah, and up here. Everywhere else, not really. So there's really only, I think, 3 other major spots in this map anyway that need the metal sound effects. So let's add those in. And that's the nice thing about or statements is we can save on lines of dialogue by checking for lots of things all in one area. So this next one, we'll drag way over here. Since it is this floor up here that has the unique sound effects. Well, I say unique, but it's the sound effects for the metal. That should work. That'll be the first portion. I think we'll need 3 checks here just to check for the different sound effect zones. So first sound effect zones there so we don't overlap with that. Then we'll make a new zone. Kind of like that. So it's basically that minus 10. I can drag that out a bit. It all lines up. This will actually be interesting, chat. I just realized since we're at a higher elevation, it may be necessary to actually add a height chat for part of this. Or push it out so that it's plays the sound effect correctly towards the edge. All right, let's take a look at the width of the player object. So that'll be necessary for determining this. The action point, that's 7. 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Sure. Size is 15, so 7, it's 7, 0, that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 pixels wide, all right. Cancel that. So what we'll do, chat, is basically use that as our edge to check, which is down here. Yep, there it is. All right, so we already have the edge found out for this area. So about there, then we'll just add 7 to the horizontal, so that'll be 95. And that should allow it to play while on lower elevation it won't play, hopefully, because hopefully the player will be slightly too far away for that to happen. Mayhaps we should go to 94 just to be safe. And add in 1 more bit right there to check again. This for the lowest portion down here. Okay, then we subtract such from this value, so that'll be 89. I have to bring them out to the edges like this, chat, so that the material actually overlaps, since the player's hitbox does have a width. So this should hopefully be a width that is slightly smaller than the player's hitbox, so if they're standing at this platform down here, it doesn't play the wrong material sound effect. We'll still play the correct sound effect when we're up here. In theory. Okay, that should work. Yeah. Oh, looks like I've pulled up the Sonic map real quick. My apologies. Let me fix that. I sometimes forget that I use the numpad to change between different OBS slides. Let's bring this all down here. Set that to 0. And that to 0. All right, so all that remains to make these invisible. Yeah, let's temporarily give me a path through. I can jump from there to there. That'll let me test out this material. All right. That should work, yeah. Okay. Let's test it out, chat. I'm thinking there might be some more invisible walls here. Yep. That is certainly me being thorough, which is a good thing, except for testing purposes. That's okay. There we go. Might as well open that lever door for safekeeping. Okay. Well, I mean, we normally won't be able to see in that wall, so that'd be fine. Good. Sounding good so far. Okay. Where the edges seem to make sense. Let's test over here. Good. Yeah, that's what we want here. Or rather not here. Okay, let's lay out the edges here, at least lined up pretty well. Now let's try down here. Okay, so I'm right up against the edge and it still sounds like stone. Good. Whereas if I were to come at that from the very edge up top, I think... Okay, I'm at like the very edge, but I'm still up there because I haven't seen the falling particles. Okay, so we have to edge that out ever so slightly. Oh, well, not bad. We're just dialing it in. Okay, I'm moving it to pixel out chat so that way it can hopefully play the correct sound effects at that very, very edge. It has to be pixel perfect, no pun intended. And after we check this one, we'll probably take a break. Okay. Good. All right, this is like the very edge of the platform chat. So Dorothy's like standing on the thinnest bit of the edge. And I walked off. And now it's stone. Perfect. That's what we want to hear. Good. Okie doke. So that spot's all cleared away. Very, very good. Let's move these things back in place. Yep. All right, that's all back in place. We can make them invisible again. I'm always wary when I make these things invisible because I don't accidentally want to leave a gap. Okay. That should be all squared away. Good. All right. Oh, what? That's not correct. What is that doing there? All right, that definitely needs an adjustment. 1 second, chat. Just don't make everything visible again. Yeah, so the problem spot appears to be right here. This is easily remedied, though, with some smaller impassable walls. Actually, wait, what am I doing? So, move that, move this down here. And we can put this one here. Yeah, it should keep everything in place. Alrighty. let's make those invisible again, and then we'll take we'll test it out, and then probably take a quick break before we go back to defining more sound effect areas. So. I'm glad we double checked that, because I definitely would have missed that. All right, seems good so far. No walking through walls today. Alrighty. All right, chat. So I think that'll be a good spot to take our first break. When we come back, we'll be defining more zones for the metal sound effects, and we'll probably be recording something for a wooden sound effect. So, don't go, guys. I will be right back. All right, chat. Welcome back to Relay. No, Copper Nicholson. We were not restarting stream. I just forgot to post the Discord notification earlier, so I decided to post it then. Anyway, so time to get back to mapping out different areas for the different sound effects. So we have the default sound effect, which applies to most stone surfaces, but now we're mapping out areas for the metal sound effects. We've already mapped out there, and there. Now we're going to map out the remaining areas, which is this room over here. And I think the corner up here. And that would be all the metal surfaces in this on this floor. So let's head on over to our lines of code. Another OR function. Oh, so Copper, if you're here, did you have a nice walk with the dogs? I remember when I was much younger, it was a lot of fun to go for a walk with our with the family dog. Her name was Sierra, and she was a Yale Labrador Retriever, and she was a very, very fit dog and really liked to go for long walks. It was a lot of fun. So I walked with Sierra around the neighborhood where I grew up, as well as play fetch, because Yale Labrador Retrievers in general, really, he loved to play fetch. You don't really have to train them to do it either. They just know. And yeah, so also you mentioned the dogs, Copper Nicholson. What kind of dogs were you walking? Out of curiosity. All right, let's move these this section way up here. So all right. So per our rules, about, so when we're at like a vertical edge, we have to add about 10 pixels. So add 10 pixels there. We're at horizontal edge. What we do is that we add about 6 or 7 pixels to the left. Let's try 73. Okay. Yep. So that's zone defined. We'll add that down here. That's equal to 0. All right. And now we have to just add, I think, maybe 1 to 3 more of these for the other metal room in the left side of the floor, so that we can control that metal sound effect. Let's add that over there. Okay. Okay. So again, we line things up as best we can. Fortunately for us, up here, we have a wall here, which we can make use of to make that portion a smidge easier. All we have to do is add 10 to there, or subtract 10 from there. And that should work out, in theory. But of course, we'll do some testing. I think we might have lucked out and be able to do this in one zone. Yeah, I think we might have lucked out. Oh, silly me, how did I forget? There's also a tiny bit of metal up here that we need to add sound effects to. Because that is a metal surface. So pull this over here. That to 0. You just spot a stunt outside on the road. Ah, I see, Copper Nicholson. I hope you kept your distance, because stunt spray is very, very smelly and very hard to get rid of. The Puds are trying to chase it. Oh no! Stop the Puds! The Puds don't know what they're doing. The Puds don't realize that's a mistake. So I'm guessing you were walking the Puds, Copper Nicholson? All right, awesome. Well, did you have fun walking the Puds, Copper Nicholson? Go on a cool trails or routes when you were walking the Puds? As I remember, like I was saying earlier, it was a lot of fun when I was growing up and I was able to walk the yellow Labrador Retriever that we had as a family dog. Oh, you're still walking them. Awesome. Well, I think it's a good night for a walk. So, hope you enjoy it. All right, we'll line things up this weekend. One of the Puds keeps trying to chase the cars. I mean, dogs tend to do that. There are tons of mosquitoes buzzing around. You got some bug spray? It is summer, so mosquitoes tend to be about. Or if you don't have bug spray, a long sleeve shirt can certainly help as well. 1177, 1286, and 619. Or no, not 619. 599. I think that's how it works. No. We want this one to be on the edge, I think. That'll do. Let's I see. Well, perhaps it might be worthwhile to get changed. If your main water bottle is broken, maybe grab like a plastic water bottle or a different water bottle if you have it, and enjoy the night. Okie doke. That's that area. So we have, I think, 3 more areas to check for the metal sound effects. That being the top of the stairs, the room on the far left, and the small metal platform or metal machine in the laboratory. I disagree with that notion, Copper Nicholson. It only takes a few minutes to get changed, and if it makes it more comfortable to take them for a longer walk, I think that's worth it for them, Okie doke. So let's give ourselves a path here. So I'm moving these again. Let's move. I'm basically just moving some of my my barriers out of the way so that I can do some testing. So move that barrier. There should hopefully be enough space. Move this barrier. Oh, well, actually, we have this lever door open, so that one doesn't have to move. But you need at least that much space to take a look. Oh, fair enough, Topper Nicholson. Fair enough. All right, so that'll give us way up there. This room here, I'll just move the door for a second so we can test that out. And up there, we can do ourselves. Okie doke. Let's take a look, chat. Or rather, take a listen. Squirrel! Anyway. So far, so good. First metal area is up here. Okay, that made sense. That did not make sense. I probably want to pull that edge in a little bit. Okay, perfect. So we have the vertical lined up, but the horizontal needs to be pulled into like this very edge. That's an easy enough fix. Next, we'll move back down and try testing out the areas on the left side of this floor. So now we have this room over here. Okay. Looks fairly good, I think. Yeah, we can still argue that we're on the metal there. Okay. Alrighty. Made sense. Now let's check up here. So we have to basically check right up there for things. Alrighty. Hop on over. I do actually need to check that area over there, so bye to battle. If you're wondering why I did that much damage, it's because I was doing some testing on one of the boss battles for the tutorial dungeon and basically defeated it a bunch of times, gave me a ton of that speed, leveled up some stats to make things go faster. So that's why I did such an absurd amount of damage to that battle there. Okay, so far that seems to make sense. Okay. Let's head on back up and see what the metal sound effects is like. If we have everything lined up or not. 1, 2, 3. Okay. And that's a sprint jump, chat. So sprint jumps are a risky maneuver to go a longer distance for platforming purposes. Okay, I'm at the very edge. Perfect. Good. Let's try the right edge. Oh, Gotta push that one out slightly. I try and line this up so I'm like pixel perfect on the edge. Okay, so I think the lower portion is good though. Yeah, so basically push this one out, pixel, push this one out a pixel a little bit. Oh yeah, if it's rain, you should probably head back so that everyone is safe. I think over there is fine. All right, so we have a few minor things to fix. Let's move you back over there since we know this room's all right. Move. Okay. Let's make some adjustments to the zones. Let's make some adjustments to the chalk zones. Anyone here remember Chalk Zone? I remember that show being pretty fun when I was much younger. Wasn't that animation on Nickelodeon out in the 1990s, though? I honestly forget when that show came out. I remember it being fun, though. Very creative. Like, basically having any kind of chalk would give you the ability to draw whatever you wanted. Kind of like that one episode of SpongeBob where Doodle Bob is around and we have the pencil and can draw all sorts of doodles that function as real objects. Or kind of like Scribblenauts, I guess. Scribblenauts is a game where you draw various shapes and characters and can use them. All right. So the corner, I think, is this one. All right, I remembered correctly. Yeah, that one should be there. Okay. Oh, really? I had no idea about that. Yep, that's the other thing about like older TV shows is over time, like anything that they tried to cover up comes out. And then it definitely makes you look at things a bit differently for a lot of the older shows. Which one was this? Yeah, there it is. Okay. I think we're good to push this out by 1 pixel in each direction. So 1287 and 1176. $12.87 and $11.76. Ouch, that's horrible. I actually read an article, I think it was on NPR recently, that said that one of the benefits that come out of the pandemic is that there's now like a whole new employment sector of employment in the acting industry. That's about like I think they're called like coordinators or something, and basically their whole purpose is to they're like choreographers, except their purpose is to make sure that everyone's boundaries are being respected, like physically and emotionally and things like that. So nowadays, actors and actresses, when they sign their contracts, they specify specifically what they are and are not okay with. And at least in theory, directors cannot force them to do anything that they didn't specifically outline on the contract. And similarly, like the coordinators are there to help make sure that everyone's space is being respected, but they're also there to make sure that within those constraints, they're able to still get the emotions out that they're trying to convey for various scenes that require any like physical connections or things like that. Let's take a look at All right, so I think we've got those areas edited. Let's test them out. I think I edited them correctly. Yep, looks like it. All right, let's take a look. Or I should say take a listen. We'll go up these stairs. We know that portion's good. I'd say it's still ever so slightly towards stone there then. All right, I think that transition made sense. What do you think, chat? I think that portion sounds good. Now let's move on over to the other sector we were testing. Oh, whoops, forgot to jump there. That's my bad. Let's head on over. So let's platform on up. Whee! Okay. Okay, we're at the very edge. Okay, we need to pull that one back by 1 pixel. It was fine before. But here, it looks like we're at the very edge. And it still sounds correct. All right. Slight edit left to make. Should go back to 1177. Pull it on in. All right, let's just test the area on up there. And up we go. Oh, whoops. Not quite there yet. Hey, we made that. Okay. Set back over to the metal machine and see if the sound effects are correct. Okay, so I'm in this corner. And I'm not hearing anything, so that's good. Well, I mean, not hearing any metal. It still sounds like the default sound effect, so that's good. Alrighty. I think that's all. I think that all lines up. All right, chat. I think we've completely metallicized this area here, which is really cool. Really, really cool. So I'm just gonna double check this spot up here, and then we'll focus on the next sound effect, which will be actually things like these wooden cabinets, or the wooden platforms, which is of course wood. We definitely need some good wood sound effects. Okay. All right, I think that all lines up. All the sound effects line up. Cool. So let's add some little notes for ourselves here just to be on the safe side. Oh, wait a minute. We do need to add something here. This will make things more consistent. Yeah, any line of code where we say stop playing a sample, we need to make sure we call this out correctly. Yeah. All right. I think we made that adjustment. Very good. Oh, I remember Danny Phantom and Fairly Odd Parents. Let's see here. In fact, I think the ghost of Molly McGee even made a Danny Phantom reference in one of the more recent episodes. That's the Danny Phantom thermos, you know, being used to collect ghosts is like basically like a staple now. Or actually, then again, I guess you could argue that that kind of concept existed with like Ghostbusters, but I don't think they used a thermos per se in Ghostbusters. They used some other kind of container. Whereas in Danny Phantom, it was quite literally a thermos. All right. Move that there. That's all good. Alrighty. Set that to invisible again. And double check that we can't walk out. We'll do some tests with like jumping and dashing. Okay, so far so good. I guess we can test it over here. Or actually, this room should be good for testing the metal. Cool. All right, that all sounds correct. Cool. All right, chat. Now, like I was saying before, we'll add some comments so that we know which line of code does what. In this case, line 1 defines the zones where the walking sound effect value set to 1 metal. Line 2 sets the walking sound effect value to 0 when whenever the player is not standing in any zone that defines a different sound effect. Excellent. Now we have some comments there. All right, chat. So next order of business, get ourselves a walking on wood sound effect. So I'm trying to think, what does walking on like a wooden platform sound like versus just regular stone? I think it would sound a bit lighter, if that makes sense. All right. Well, I guess that means back to Audacity. So let's see. Hey, Copper Nicholson, everyone's entitled to different opinions. Everyone has different phobias, different things that make them feel icky, you know? But anyway, since we're on the subject of sound effects, let's see if I can make a more wooden sound and walking sound effect. All right. It's all very quiet. We'll have to amplify that. Whoa, too loud. It's too loud. Try that to around like the 20 per 0.2 decibel threshold, or the 0.2 threshold over here. No, Copper Nicholson, it's not. Plenty of people are afraid of spiders. Plenty of people are afraid of snakes. They're not abnormal phobias, dude. Okay, I actually think this one sounds pretty decent. And also this one. Let's try that one and see what we can do. All right, chat. I think I'm gonna take a quick break here, and when we come back, I'll be adding the sound effects for walking on wooden material, and we'll try and go from there. So, be right back, chat. All right, chat, let's get editing. Start out with the sound effect needs to play at 0.055 seconds. That's going to be around there. And about 0.183 seconds. Yep, let's try that. Export that as an MP3. Elvis footsteps on wood surface. 1-1. Okay. Right now I'm just adjusting the sound effects that'll be played on wooden surfaces, chat. Yep. Now we just need to define ourselves a zone where there's a wooden surface. I believe the nearest one's actually just going to be right here. That should be fairly straightforward. We just identify that as a zone. That we can have identify this whole well area as one giant wooden zone. So delete all that. Where's that area? Aha, it's there. Move it on up here. It's in this way. Way up. What is the coordinate way up here? 1750. No, 310. Okay. It's a big space. All right. Oh, you went for a 1 hour walk. That's awesome, Copper Nicholson. I'm glad you're able to enjoy a nice, relaxing walk with the dogs. All right. Let's see how the sound effect sounds. Ooh. That actually sounds really good. I like that. Alrighty. Oh, well, why don't you catch your breath, Copper Nicholson, and then take the dogs back to wherever wherever you guys are keeping them. Oh, sounds like the rain's coming down outside. So it's like we record the sound effects at just the right moment. Yeah, look at this, chat. Doesn't it sound cool? Well, you can still walk back through the rain, Copper Nicholson. Anyway. I was trying to make sure all the sound effects line up for the metal, because I think the metal sound effect might have been a little early. Okay. That's not my keyboard, Copper Nicholson. That's the sound effects of the... do you not hear, like, music or anything, Copper Nicholson? One second, chat. Volume's turned to max. Alright, so... all you hear is me typing. Oh, okay, that must also be a problem with OBS. One second, let me see if I can fix that. All right. I'll just play a sound effect on loop chat just so that we can have something for testing. Okay, I think that should be audible now. Yeah, I apologize for that, chat. I've been talking so much about sound design, but you guys have been hearing none of the sound effects. So, let's actually go back to the game and let you guys all hear our voices. Not voices, sound effects. So, this is the default walking sound effects. We're walking on stone. Down here, you'll hear the metal sound effects. Nice little smooth transition. Well, you might hear the taps on my keyboard, but I'm trying my best just to let you hear the sound effects now. So right now, I'm literally just holding down a button. So, you see it in the background. That's deliberate, Copper Nicholson. Also, if you're just listening through your phone, it's probably not going to be sounding as good as if you're playing on your computer. But I have various sound effects in the background for walking, so something sees us. So this is the sound effect of us walking on wood. Then over here we have us walking on stone. And then walking on metal. So all in all, I like the use of different sound effects. So this is stone, over here's the metal. All right. So we'll amend the comment here. This will be line 3. This will be line 2, which will be for wood. Yeah. Okie doke. And now we get to define where the wooden sound effects are to play. So there's a lot of areas, we'll say a lot of surfaces that will be considered wooden in this area. So we'll have to be very diligent about where we place our checks for various things. All right, well, I'm glad you can hear the noises now. And for those of you watching on YouTube, I apologize. I was completely unaware that the desktop audio was not being output. So when I was talking about all these various sound effects and asking for feedback, there was, you all were literally hearing nothing. So then I apologize for that. That's technical difficulties on my end. But now everything is back to the way it should be. Oh, I'm not going... I don't intend to, Topper Nicholson. It's just that I was apologizing because I didn't. Clearly OBS was not outputting the sounds earlier. So for most of the dev stream, all you'd hear is my voice. You wouldn't hear any of the music or any of the walking sound effects. But now you'll be able to hear them, at least for this last portion. So let's define the wooden areas. I'm thinking probably best to start from the bottom right and work our way towards the top left. So we have this rail line over here, which should definitely have a walking zone. Note, this one line must check for all zones. Okay. Well, it's good to hear from the voices of friends, Copper Nicholson. Always good to chat with friends. So let's see here. Yeah. So next area. I'll be way, way, way down here. I'm noticing that as I'm working on this chat, my lights are flickering a bit because I think there's a thunderstorm outside. So if we lose power, just be aware that it's due to technical difficulties from weather. But for now, we shall make the most of what we have. As all in all, despite the technical difficulties, I have been making good progress at the sign of at making defining sound effect sounds. I'm honestly very thankful that it's proven to be honestly pretty simple to make these sound effect zones. It's really satisfying too, because it's a very little thing, but it helps with immersion a lot, in my opinion, because you can definitely tell when a game hasn't included sound design enough to really help with immersion. So yeah, we've defined that. That should do for over there. Oh, I I seen the new Spider-Man? I have not, but I'm actually planning to go see the movie with my girlfriend tomorrow night. Should be a lot of fun. But yeah, I remember really enjoying Into the Spider-Verse, so very much looking forward to seeing Across the Spider-Verse. I just, again, I don't want any spoilers from Copper Nicholson. My only question is, would you say it's better, worse, or on par with the first movie, in your opinion? I said no spoilers, Copper Nicholson. You'd say it's even better. Really? Well, if that's the case, then that's very impressive because the first movie was already just very, very well done. It's hard for me to even really think of a criticism for the first movie because it's like it was so well paced, the story was well written, the characters were well developed. Like the music, the animation, it was all very, very on point. So, well, so I guess we'll find out. But cool. If it's even better than the first one, then that's definitely saying something. But yeah, like I said, Copper Nicholson, no spoilers. I want to go in as blind as possible. And looking forward to it. But in the meantime, we'll keep defining the zones. So we can have our happy different sound effects. And go from there. How many Spider people do I know from the comics? So I know the ones from Into the Spider-Verse, so those 5, plus primarily from the movie, of course, plus the Spider-Man from I think the Shattered Dimensions video game, and that's about it. I haven't really read any of the comics, so that's why I'm saying like there's probably way more Spider-Man than those, like, how many would that be, like maybe 8 or 9, but those are the ones I'm aware of at least. I never played Shattered Dimensions, but my point is that I at least know I have at least seen the characters that are there on the cover of it. I don't know much about them because I never played the game, but I just remember seeing that game as like, oh, look at this, it's Spider-Man across 4 different dimensions, and these are other alternate dimension Spider-Man. Okay, so we got that value there, we got this value here. Let's add another section. Okay. From here, the next portion with wooden platforms is actually way back up here. So these middle 3 platforms need the sound effects. This area over here needs the sound effects. Okay. Wait, you're telling me there's actually a Spider-Man for the Cars universe from from Pitstar? That's hilarious, but yet amazing, and honestly doesn't surprise me. Oh man, that's great. I feel like that's the kind of thing they would throw in like Cars 2, just because Cars 2 makes absolutely no sense. Cars 2 was indeed a movie that existed. Now, whether that movie should have existed or not, that's, you know, question for debate. There's also a Disney Princess Spider-Woman. That's amazing, too. Yeah, Spider-Man is everywhere. I mean, I remember growing up with with like the old Spider-Man video games. They were a lot of fun. They also had some pretty iconic moments like Symbiote Doc Ock or some other iconic moments from like the earlier Spider-Man games. I remember like the first Spider-Man movie video game, actually, like there was a cheat code to play as Green Goblin, which is really, really fun. And Ultimate Spider-Man was an amazing game. Definitely my favorite Spider-Man game that I've played, though from what I've seen, Marvel's Spider-Man is probably better. You mean the Cars duology, right, Copper Nicholson? Because the second Cars movie shouldn't exist. Like, the second Cars movie just exists, but the first and the third movies actually feel like they're part of they're, you know, valid parts of the story. At least in my opinion. Right, that should cover that area well. You're saying Cars 2 is just like the best one just because we can't understand it? No. It's not a good movie. Now, Cars 3, on the other hand, I've only seen bits and pieces of it, but seems like it's a good movie. Now, how it compares to the first one, I really wouldn't be able to say unless I watched it in full. But at least from the snippets I saw, it seemed like the premise of the story seemed pretty cool. About like Lightning McQueen being a coach. And it's also very topical. You know, it's a movie I find a lot of. I know something new every time I watch it. The Simpsons movie. Have you ever watched the Simpsons movie, Copper Nicholson? That movie is chock full of so many tiny little blink and you miss it moments that it's impressive. Like, I actually remember, like, I think the Simpsons movie was my introduction to the Simpsons in general. Like, no joke, I really hadn't watched like a full Simpsons episode until I saw the Simpsons movie. Yeah, that movie was really, really fun. Especially, but also had some very satisfying and heartfelt moments like Homer's epiphany, or the moment when I think Lisa and her potential boyfriend reconnect. Oh yeah, also, see, that's a good point. Homer's Spider Fate is an integral part of the Marvel Universe. That's also a good point. And it's different from Peter Porker. That's what's hilarious. Like, we already have Peter Porker, but the Simpsons Spider Page is also there. Spider Page does whatever a Spider Page does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. He's a page. Look out here, Spider Page. is that there are two Who's Spider Page. There's Peter Porker, and then there's the Spider Page. I just imagine if Across the Spider-Verse has Spider-Page in there as like a blinking Unisys cameo, that'd be hilarious. It's just like Homer Simpson standing there. I'm also remembering what Stan Lee said in Into the Spider-Verse when Miles Morales was buying the Spider-Man outfit. He was saying the suit always fits eventually. There's a magical girl Spider-Man. What's that one called? You're telling me in addition to anime Spider-Man, aka Penny Parker, there's also a magical girl Spider-Man? Right on, tell me next. There's a Shinobi Spider-Man. Actually, wait, don't answer that. There probably is a Shinobi Spider-Man. Overhead stands last words. No refunds. Well, true. Though it was on the sign. Shinobi Topper Nettleson would be like a ninja. I'd say, like, you know, if there's literally a Looney Tunes Spider-Man, which is Peter Porker, there's probably a ninja or samurai Spider-Man. I wouldn't be surprised. You're actually going to check? Alright, well, to be fair, with how many different Spider-Man there are, the fact that you actually had to pause for a moment, that's a sign. Since I know you're really, really knowledgeable on comic book characters. Okay. So we've done those two areas. All right, next area with wooden platform, I think it's going to be over here on the left. Yeah, basically all the rest of the wooden sections are right here. Looks like we'll have a lot to do. Yeah, just looking at this, I'm already imagining in my head how many rectangles I'm going to have to draw. We'll make it work, though. Peter Parker of the Spider-Clan. Of course, there's this. There's a Spider-Man ninja. That. Well, I'm not surprised. I'm not surprised. Okay, how about this? Instead of naming something that there is a Spider-Man of, name something that there isn't a Spider-Man of. Like, think of an occupation or like a type of like genre that there isn't a Spider-Man of. That would probably be a challenge. Because there's just so many. And the fact that we already have anime Spider-Man in multiple different genres says a lot. Spider Jameson. Oh, you mean like... Have they really never had J. Jonah Jameson as Spider-Man? I feel like that's a missed opportunity, isn't it? Could you imagine? It's like, by day, he's a talk show host who's constantly trying to pretend that he hates Spider-Man, but by night, the truth is, he is the Spider-Man. The thing is, like, there have been some things, like, I think, like, the third Spider-Man movie, where it feels like Jonah is finally starting to connect with Spider-Man. It's like, you know... If we had a Miles Morales moment, could J. Jonah Jameson become the Spider-Man? Like, I mean, there's already been a Doc Ock Spider-Man, so why not J. Jonah Jameson? Oh, wait, you're going to check? For all we know, we're saying this, and there actually is a J. Jonah Jameson Spider-Man that we're just unaware of. Yeah. Spider-Man does whatever a Spider-Man does. Can he swing from a web? No, he can't. Yes, he can. Does he is Spider-Man. Look down. You're Spider-Man. Da, 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 da. You're wrong. There is a Spider Jameson. It came out just over a week ago. Wears a newspaper-themed spider suit and his hero name is Headline. Headline! That's amazing. All right. Wow. It literally just a week ago. But still, the fact that it took till, what year is it? 2023 for there to be a J. Jonah Jameson Spider-Man. How dare they? Like, how dare they? Still, seriously, this headline, like, is this gonna be like a new comic series, or is it just like a meme? Still, headline, that's actually a good name. Say what you will about J. Jonah Jameson, he knows how to make a headline. Alright. He's real. Edge of the Spider-Verse #4 is his first appearance. Alright, fair enough. Edge of the Spider-Verse. So I'm assuming that's like, is the Edge of the Spider-Verse comics like the comics that are tied directly to the like Into the Spider-Verse movies, or is that different? Nope, it's tied to the comic storyline. The movie story is a separate thing. All right, understood. I guess that makes sense. Because if it was just tied directly to the comic storyline, that would completely spoil it for anyone who's read the comics. Yeah, I believe it. Because anything about Spider-Verse would apply to the movie to some extent for inspiration. You're telling me there's a T-Rex Spider-Man? That's also amazing. Yes, because what we needed was dinosaur Spider-Man, which means Spider-Man's is during the Stone Age. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. $77. Okay. I think I know I still have to do some more programming for some of the other one surfaces here, but I want to at least test out the ones we have so far to see if they all line up the way I think they should. Spider-Rats even has his own tiny web shooters for Steam. That's amazing. Perfectly balanced, as all things should be. Okay, so to test out the wooden areas, start with down here. Okay. Makes sense so far. Yeah, I know that might be a little jarring there, but it's for the sake of ease of programming. Okay. Makes sense. Now let's check the other areas. Oh, right. I have to pull out some areas for that to check that. All right. Okay. So I'm walking along the edge here. I'm not hearing any wooden sound effects. So far so good. Oh, there's one. Don't have to pull that one in. Probably by about a pencil. But I think everything else is probably alright. I'm really trying to like edge to like the very edge of this to test things out. Need Queen Mysteria who uses Crystal Orb as a helmet. Amazing. Amazing. Alright. First platform seems to make sense, and it's up here. Let's try this one out. Tried it to like the very edge. It's tricky though, since Norma is her fairy godmother. I was like, goblin, I'd at you. Amazing. Norma Osborn, the fairy godmother. Seriously, why is it a thing with Spider-Man to just be so many different genres? Like, I know other superhero comics have like cameos in different genres, but I don't think to the extent that Spider-Man has, except for maybe like Batman, but that'd be about it. Okay, I think we've got the area sound effects, at least for this portion, all dialed in. Right. But why do we need a Sakura spider when we already have Penny? Like, I thought Penny Parker was supposed to be anime Spider-Man. But I guess if we have Magic or World Spider-Man as well, then I guess there's just a lot of different anime genre Spider-Man. We'll adjust that. Spider-Man is one of the most popular superheroes of all time, possibly even more than Superman. Really? Even that popular? Okay. Well, I think I want to test up here as well. So let's make this visible again. Okay, so we need to make a path real quick. Okay, that should be a sufficient path to let us up here. All right, let's test out some areas here. Penny Parker's nothing like her comic counterparts. The original was dark and depressing like Neon Genesis Evangelion. I mean, I guess that's what it was based off of, if Penny Parker or Spider-Man was supposed to be a match. Alright. Good, I'm not hearing anything. Might have to defeat these enemies just to... Oh, okay. Invisibility. That's a known bug. Okay. Okay. Alright, seems to make sense. Star's designed to be the cutesy anime girl from day one, and even has a crossover with All Might and Deadpool. What? That's quite the crossover. All Might and Deadpool. What was the circumstance? A commercial? Like... Google it? Alright, I'll have to look at that some other time. Yes, My Hero Spider-Man. I need to make some adjustments to that central one. This shouldn't be playing there. Alright, sounds correct. Okay. For testing purposes. For science! I said for science! For science! Okay. Okay, makes sense so far. All right. Okay. Not too bad there. I think we literally just need to make 2 additional zones in this middle portion so that this port doesn't have us making it sound like we're standing on wood when we're standing in midair here. All right. Make those invisible again. Spiders Man is just a man made of a bunch of spiders. I have to imagine. All right. Oh yeah, we want to investment date over here. 1 second, chat. I see, Copper Nicholson. I see. Well, that's definitely unique. Alright. Good. That's sounding good. Okay. Well, we have some more definitions to make, but that's all right. First things first. One way up here needs another OR function. Y to around 1100. Okay. On the top would be around 1100. Right, that's 800. 900. Yeah, 900. Yeah, that should suffice. As there's also Spider. You're telling me Virtual Mary Jane who married Peter Parker and had a... Oh, so you're saying Mary Jane is Spider-Man, or are you saying that the daughter is Spider-Man? Oh, it's all three of them? So it's like a spider family at that point. I see. Let's see. Okay, I'm just trying to make some more adjustments to these, chat. No. Oh, no. No. Everything's falling apart, chat. Okay. Never mind, it's bad. I think. Okay, that'll work. We have Spider-Man, Spinneret, and Spiderling. Oh, that's pretty cool, Tom Randallson. Nice to have some cameos. When did these start? Oh, they started here. I see. Alrighty, so we have these three. The old one. Delete that. I feel like I'm going to have trouble keeping up with all the different Spider-Man universes. Alrighty. So in theory, that should allow us to... Wait, which one was this? Oh, did I copy the wrong ones? Ah, dear. I copied the wrong ones, chat. No. At least I think I did. Or, wait, no, I didn't. Did I get this right? Yeah, no, I think I copied the wrong ones. Or, no, wait, no, that's correct. That's correct. That's the various heights. Yeah, okay. No spoilers, Topper Nicholson. No spoilers. Right, time to find some new zones. Let's see what we can to find the rest of the laboratory area and test things out. I also just need to say No Way Home. I have not seen No Way Home. That's fair enough. No Way Home is the Marvel Spider-Man movie where, like, isn't Spider-Man working with, like, Doctor Strange, and then everything gets out of hand, and they somehow make the previous movie trilogy of Spider-Man canon to the Marvel trilogy because of parallel universes. I just remember, like, seeing the memes of Doctor Octopus showing up, and it's like, "Hello, Peter." There's also an amazing SpongeBob parody of Spider-Man No Way Home that I would really, really recommend seeing if you haven't seen it already. Fantastic parody trailer. Also, that's it's 94, since we typically have 10 pixels above the edge of a higher platform. Ah, you saw it too? Yep, it's a pretty entertaining parody. Yeah, Spider Sponge. No, I think it's called, like, Spider Sponge No Way Home or something like that. That's like Barnacle Boy's Doctor Strange. It's amazing. He's like, "Be careful what you wish for, SquarePants." You found it? Yep, it's a fun video. If I'm being quiet right now, chat, it's because I'm just thinking about all the various coordinates that I have to set for these zones. Alright, should probably start copying over some of these coordinates. Or they get too out of hand. This is getting out of hand. Now there are two of them. Aww. Okay. Next one. Okie doke. Almost there. All right. I'm sorry to hear that, Copper Nicholson. Hopefully the technical difficulties are with your Wi-Fi resolve themselves soon. All right, we're getting there, chat. Only a few more platforms to code for the wood sound effects. About there. That sits to the end there. Boop. Another one. And another one. And another zone programmed. And another zone programmed. Another zone gets programmed. Hey, we're gonna program you. Another zone gets programmed. Dum 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 dum. Another zone gets programmed. Dum dum dum. Another zone gets programmed. And another zone gets, and another zone gets, and another zone gets programmed. Hey, gonna program you. Another zone gets programmed. Dum dum. Da 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 da. Dum dum dum. Da 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 dum. Da 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 da. Spider-Man? That's a thing? So 1280, no, 609. Here's for this one. Should be 610. I think. Yeah. Alright, that should do. There was where Aunt May was bitten instead of Peter. Oh, that's amazing. Aunt May as Spider-Man? Yes, so much yes. Especially after seeing Ant-Man Into the Spider-Verse just like basically being the equivalent of Albert from Batman. Or, sorry, not Albert, Alfred. We need Spider Aunt May. I think we got one more zone. One more zone to program before the test. Yep. Yep. Okie doke. Now let's copy these 3 zones on down. Percent zone fits value to 0. So many coordinates, so little time, right, chat? No, I was saying, like, in Into the Spider-Verse, Aunt May was basically like Alfred. She had, like, the whole secret base and everything, and knew how to use it. I also remember in that movie, like, Aunt May got frustrated when all the Spider-Man were battling the villains inside her house, and she literally, like, took a baseball bat and, like, knocked one of the villains out of her house and said, "Take it outside." That was hilarious. All right, chat. I think we are ready to test. I take it back. We're not ready to test. We need to have a way up here. Okay, testing time. So we already know that area is dead. We just want to test this. Good. Good so far. Might as well use some of her healing charges. Oh, cool. Well, have fun watching this movie, Strawberry Nicholson. Cobra. The Cobra being silly. No. Let me up. Okay. Oh. So, no. Oh, whoops. Accidentally hit that stairwell. You got this. Okay. Alright. It at least sounds like it's making sense. Okay, I think we got that all lined up correctly. So now let's go into the lab and test that area. System out. Okay, I just sound that horribly. I just got spit with hit that acid from that vibrato. Okay, so first things first, we'll do a walk around the edge of all the platforms here, just to make sure there's no area where we're having overlap with the sound effects. So far, so good. Not hearing any notable differences. Alrighty. Okay, now we do the platforming. There we go. Yep, that seemed to make sense. That sound effect over there. Right now, if for those just joining the dev stream, we are in the process of testing walking sound effects for different materials. So right now I'm testing to make sure that all the wooden cabinets we're standing on top of actually sound like wooden cabinets when we walk over them. Just trying. Okay, that sounded correct. Yep, that made sense. Still making sense. Very good. Okay. Try over here. You do not cover Nicholson, but it sounds like another Gundam Spider-Man, right? Okay. Making sense so far. Ah, that needs to be changed. So I need to shift that up one. Okay. There's a cat, a wolf, and a monkey. All right. Okay, so basically the only... This is actually a very good chat, because we tested a lot of errors. The only one we have to add is this one up here. So we will do that. No. Okay, alright, okay, bada bang, bada boom. Wait a minute. Okay, good. There's a wall there. I want to make sure about that. Cool. Nice. All right, let's make that ad and then wrap things up. Okay. Let's test it out, chat. Let's spray a little sunny tonight. All right. Oh, whoops. Test up here, chat. This is the last test. Darn it. Still not quite there. That's all right. It's just, we just have to dial it in. And all will be well. Da, 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 da. Okay. Now we test it out. Good. That's what we want to see. So now it's all lined up correctly with the wood sound effect. Nice. Yeah, honestly, this is pretty cool, chat. Hearing the different sound effects in different areas. That's metal, that's wood, that's default. Alrighty, we got it, chat. We got it. Yes. Now we finally have some proper sound effects for the first floor of the tutorial dungeon. So all in all, chat, I honestly think that was a productive night. We made significant progress towards one of the stretch goals, and I think it's a good one. Just a nice immersion one. Just now listen to this, chat. Walking around, got happy sound effects. Really, really cool. Really liking the immersive feel it brings. Anyway, so I think this will be a good spot to wrap things up for tonight. If you're watching on Twitch, feel free to stick around for a raid. But if you're watching on YouTube and you like what you saw, please consider subscribing on YouTube. It's free to subscribe on YouTube. You can always change your mind later, and it's a great way to show support. If you're watching on YouTube, I hope you have an amazing night.